I wish I was giving a data presentation. You know, my research, that's a lot easier than this. That's why I wrote out more than I usually do. So yes, I'm an alumnus, but I was also a faculty member here. This is going to be, you know, personal reflection kind of thing. First, a few comments about my student days, which started in 1967. Some of you weren't even born then, so it's kind of a funny situation. People ask me why I got interested in public health. Your stories were wonderful, and I've been thinking about the same thing because people ask me. I wanted to work when I got my bachelor's degree and got a teaching job in Port Washington, Long Island. I was teaching general science. Ability groups in schools were very common then. This first-year teacher got assigned ability groups number 1 and number 13. I mean, what was wrong with that principle? But I did, and the thing about science is you can be very creative with the methodology. You've got experiments and demonstrations and field trips and what have you. And I was very engaged with my students. I was really impressed with my students. But sort of on this pathway, how I got to public health, I remember one person, Timmy, over there on the side, and we're doing some experiments and interacting with each other, and he waves his hand. Miss Gronostowski, why are you working so hard? Didn't people tell you we're the dumb group? And it really started me thinking about how structures, public opinion, processes, administration set people up for unhealthy things and unhealthy behavior. And I just wonder what Timmy's doing these days, that stuck with me. Hasn't anybody told you we're dumb? And I really started thinking about community health and what we do, what have you. And in the meantime, my boyfriend David was saying, when are you going to come back to Massachusetts, you know, and settle down, we'll get married, blah, blah, blah. So I started exploring the public health aspect because of this growing interest in the public health environment. So here I came. In those days, we were in Draper Hall, right? Dr. Darity had this magnificent office with this magnificent window in Draper Hall, and I was a teaching assistant, so I had my office in my cubbyhole. My friend Karen Carlson was in the undergraduate program. She's now my cousin-in-law. I don't know if Dr. Darity ever knew that David and George would sneak in at night with beer and treats. But Draper Hall was a great place to be. At any rate, I just wanted to make a comment on the tremendous role that Dr. Darity has played in my thinking and my commitment. And that has become even more clear when I was in South Carolina. Dr. Darity actually seldom focused on racial disparities. His theme, involve the people, involve the people. We used to make fun behind your back. If he says involve the people one more time, we'll scream. But that's what struck us. It wasn't, it was clearly a principle of public health, but it was for everyone to have a say in having equal access and equal opportunity. I grew up in Hadley when it was a little tiny town. There wasn't a single black person in town. There wasn't a single African American person in our school. But were there inequalities? My grandparents were dumb Polacks. My friends' parents were drunken Irish people. There was all kinds of inequities that we can think about, and that's what we were encouraged to think about by Dr. Darity. So here I was as a student, again in an all-white program, and we really learned and engaged involving the people. And I gotta say, Dr. Darity was way ahead of his time. I go to South Carolina in 2003, and now they're acting like they have discovered Involve the Community. The culture difference was amazing. So I just wanted to say that you set the stage for that. And in fact, it wasn't till for decades later that I found that Dr. Darity was the first African American to get a PhD from the University of North Carolina in public health. And so he was way ahead of his time. I guess the other thing I wanted to comment about was the importance of my students and mentees. You know, people talk about my research, but my students and my mentees mean so much to me. And even when we think about Involve the Community, one of my excellent students, Jeff Harness, day after day, he's in the community working for Cooley Dickinson Hospital, trying to make things better. My teaching and research assistants, Barbara Estabrook, Carolyn Kranos, people would try to steal them. They were so good, and they really helped me get all those grants and deliver on it. They're bright, dedicated graduates of this program. Some have gone on to brilliant careers in academia. Look at those two over there, Lisa Chasen-Tabor and Stephanie Lemon. Fabulous careers in academia. When I first joined the health administration faculty, Seth Goldsmith was chair, and he said, you know, Jane, you've got skills, but be sure to surround yourself with people who make you look good. Well, that just happened. When I think about the people I just mentioned, and Harris Pastides and Ann Stoddard and Ed Stanek and Carol Bigelow, Elaine Paleo, Martha Zorn, they all really helped me accomplish the things that we wanted to accomplish. And I really thank you all for that opportunity and that help. And last but not least, thank you, David, for your patience. Thank you so much.
So David, if you would